Mank is the latest film from David Fincher and stars Gary Oldman, Amanda Seyfried, Lily Collins and Charles Dance. The story follows screenwriter Herman J. Mankiewicz and the torrid development of the iconic masterpiece Citizen Kane alongside Orson Welles. So just to give you guys a heads up, there'll be no spoilers in this review, so I'll keep plot details and character info to a minimum. Just a quick reminder that if you enjoy my movie reviews, hit the like and subscribe buttons and be sure to hit the notification bell for updates on the latest reviews. Starting with the positives, the one thing I love about the movie is the story and how we get a really deep insight into the wheelings and dealings, as it were, of the Hollywood system back in the 1930s in terms of how movies were made. And in the case of this movie, Citizen Kane had a development torturous process in terms of how the script was made, and it's interesting to see Mank go through these various hurdles and hoops, or try to overcome them anyway, to try and get the film made in the first place. So it's a really unique insight into just the process as a whole, and the film really delves into that, certainly in terms of Mank and the script for Citizen Kane. Gary Oldman is without a doubt the standout performer in this movie as Herman J. Mankiewicz, and it's interesting because with his character he's pretty reserved for the most part, but there are definitely moments throughout the movie where he's not afraid to voice his opinion to his fellow movie colleagues, and Oldman plays these traits with such ease. Something that's not easy to portray, however, is playing a convincing drunk, but luckily when you cast an actor of Oldman's calibre, you're guaranteed a convincing performance. Thankfully, Oldman never goes over the top in the scenes where we see Mank in a drunken state, as he's able to convey the sad, lonely qualities that are suppressed within his character. Amanda Seyfried turns in a solid performance as actor Marion Davis, as she plays the role with the appropriate amount of Hollywood glitz and glamour that definitely comes with her character, but at the same time there's an honest and sincere quality that definitely comes through in her performance as well. Lily Collins also turns in a solid performance as Mank's secretary Rita Alexander, and the one thing I like about her performance is that she's basically the moral compass in Mank throughout the entirety of the movie. But the good thing about her character is that while she provides a lot of compassion and support for Mank, she also is not afraid to put her foot down when Mank's demands become quite absurd at the best of times. Another positive of the movie for me is David Fincher's direction, as at this point you'd expect nothing less from him. He painfully recreates the various sets and locations from 1930s Hollywood. Another thing that stood out for me was the dialogue, how it mimics those sounds from those earlier movies, along with the black and white colour palette. As all this collectively does, it just fully immersed me in the story of Mank. The score from Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, it's a big departure from their previous collaborations with Fincher, as the score is definitely a love letter to the 30s era of filmmaking in Hollywood, and the soundtrack is very jazz infused and definitely complements the time period of Mank. Despite the overall positive experience that I had from seeing Mank, there are a couple of negatives that I had with the movie. One of my biggest complaints of the movie is how Mank never really feels like a fully fleshed out character, outside of the calm, confident exterior that we see from him. And despite the scenes that we see throughout the movie that fully flesh out how we see the script being developed for Citizen Kane, in terms of the various scenarios and situations that inspire the script, apart from that, there's very few scenes that really flesh out the character, and that was for me a big disappointment. I just feel if the story explored more of Mank's psyche as a character, then I would have definitely empathised a lot more with his struggles when writing the script for Citizen Kane. So overall, despite a few issues that I had in the lack of character development in Mank, as well as the lack of conflict within the story, I'm going to give Mank an 8 out of 10. So it's now that time where I hand it over to you guys. I now want to hear your thoughts on whether or not you enjoyed Mank, and where do you think this ranks in terms of David Fincher's filmography, so I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you guys as always for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.